You can't apply for a bridging visa while on a visitor visa, right? Question. You can apply. You don't apply for bridging visas manually. Let's say it's depending what we're talking about here, Chirag. If we're talking about applying for a bridging visa that allows someone to stay in the country because they're waiting for another application, then the only automatic way to do that is to apply for an onshore application. So you're here onshore on a visa and you apply for another visa. So let's say you're here on a visitor visa. Let's say, because I know this is your case, you're here on a visitor visa, or your partner's here on a visitor visa, and you apply for another visitor visa. That application, because it's an onshore application, by law, a bridging visa is issued. So it's not, you don't apply for the bridging visa separately. It's included in the application for that new visa. If we're talking about applying for, just trying to apply for a bridging visa to keep someone in the country without applying for another visa, so just trying to get the bridging visa but not actually applying for another visa, no, that's not how things work. There's ways to apply for very temporary short-term bridging visas for people that are departing. So people that are here unlawfully and they go to the department and they say, I've been unlawful, I've done the wrong thing, but I need to depart. I'm now going to depart the country. The government will grant them a bridging visa on departure grounds. They're normally very kind of carefully regulated. They'll give them like a 28-day bridging visa just to legalize their status. And then they say, you better be out in 28 days, otherwise you need to come back in here. We need to renew your bridging visa again so you don't go unlawful again. So that's another, I suppose, common way that people apply for bridging visas, but you don't want to be in that scenario. That's not a good situation. And the only other kind of way that you can get bridging visas to keep people here in the country lawfully whilst you're waiting for applications is, when we're talking about couples that apply for offshore partner visas, is if you already had a visitor visa first. And I've spoken about this in prior lives, so I won't go too into it, but please look at the replays, please look at the spreadsheet which lists all the questions and answers that I provide in these lives, and look for this topic. But people that apply for a visitor visa first, get granted, then apply for an offshore 309, come on shore on the visitor visa. In that instance, yes, you can apply for a bridging visa associated to that offshore 309 because of the sequencing of the applications. It's just the way the law works. It's a bit of a loophole, let's say. I suppose poorly understood. You might read various inconsistent opinions about it, but that's the way it works. If you want to apply for a bridging visa because you have a pending offshore application, it has to be in that order. There's another kind of workaround way, but it still revolves around applying for another visitor visa application, which gives someone the bridging visa, another bridging visa. So, Chirag, I hope that answers your question. I don't want to go too overboard in my answer, because I feel like you were just asking, can you get a bridging visa if you're here on a visitor visa? And really the only way to do that is to apply for another application. Just trying to have a general conversation. I understand. I'm just trying to get your identity. Chirag, it's you again. Yeah, no, I understand. And I'm happy to have a conversation about these things. And if by conversing and talking about these things with you, it alleviates, some stress on your end, and it makes you feel a bit kind of calmer about the process, then it's worth it. I'm happy to talk, of course.